already on?
No, give me 1 second. Okay, go for it.
Okay, welcome to the zoning board of appeals meeting, Wednesday, January 18, 2023. A motion to open the meeting at 7:37 PM.
Make a
So
motion.
motioned.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, for tonight, we have a public hearing, continued application 2023-1, 20 Bear Hill Road, AKA 0 Bear Hill Road, Cedardale Tennis Club. Cellco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless, requesting a variance for provisions on section 50-4.5, meta use in the RI district, section 50-6.3, B3, to permit a wireless communication facility outside of the wireless communication district, and section 50-8.1, table of dimensional requirements to increase the maximum height of the Groveland zoning bylaw. So, Annie, take it away.
Yep, so, as Brad just read, this is for the, cell tower at Cedardale. In your meeting packet, you have a notice of decision for a special permit and variance. I worked with Michael to, finalize this. There was one condition, number 7, which is in regards to the, permit being non-assignable. Mike and I went back and forth on this a couple times to just make sure we were on the same page with it. And I would like to turn it over to Mike so that you can you'll be able to better understand the reasoning behind why we changed it from kind of our boilerplate, this permit shall be non-assignable, if that's okay with you.
Sure. You want me to speak up? You want me to
Yes,
talk now?
please. Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. I can't see any of you, but I trust that you're there. So yeah, I understand the condition, and I was on a zoning board too. We used a very similar condition when we were dealing with a business in a storefront or some commercial use like that, where we wanted to see, a new owner of the business or new occupant of the space before we renewed the special permit. This is a little different because it's an infrastructure project really, and so I had suggested language which is similar to the language that Verizon uses when it leases wireless sites, which provides for the assignability of the lease without consent if it's going to be assigned to a related entity really, and then there's consent to the lease if it's assigned to an unrelated entity. Here, with the special permit aspect of this, I had suggested that it be non-assignable, as would be your base condition, except if it's being assigned to a new lessee that's either a subsidiary of the applicant or another Verizon entity, or it's an entity created by merger or other business organization. And then also it could be assignable with notice to the board if it goes to an entity as part of a large transaction where more than half of their assets in the area are sold to an entity. I can give you a few examples. When I started working with these guys, they were called 9X Mobile, then they were Bell Atlantic Mobile, then they've been Verizon Mobile. There's been a number of underlying entities and mergers. At one point, they sold all of their tower assets in a certain area to a particular company, which then leased the space back to them. So the way this business works, the condition that says it's not assignable at all really wouldn't work, because even if you're inclined to grant a new special permit, it's still a process, and it would prevent them from assigning this to a new entity. So this is the request that you're protected because you'll know who the new entity is. If they really did sign it, if they were going to hand this site over to some other wireless company or a radio station or whatever, they would have to go back to you for a new special permit. There's no question about that. It's really just if it's being operated by whatever the new version of the Verizon Wireless Network entity is, that would not be something where they would have to go back and request permission again.
So basically, it's just language that states underneath the Verizon umbrella, it's okay.
Yeah.
If they move to a different
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it kind of moves outside of the Verizon umbrella,
Then we'll have to.
then it is not assignable in the permit. They would need to come in front of the board for a new permit, but as long as it stays under the Verizon umbrella, it can be assigned to whatever subsidiary, whatever the new name is.
And that's the only modification, minor mod?
That was kind of the only one where we went back and forth on more than once, essentially. But other than that, we just tightened up the language and made sure that we were covering our bases with the Federal Telecommunications Act and that everything was being done correctly in that regard.
Any
So-
conversation from the board, or?
Yeah, that was really it.
Makes sense. Number 7,
That makes sense.
okay,
I'm good.
okay.
All right.
Should we close the meeting? So at this time, we'll close the public meeting, and is that for a sign-off?
Yep, and I have the document right there for the board to sign.
Okay. We can sign after the meeting?
Sure.
All right. Next up is
We need the
application.
motion to close.
Close.
Oh,
Sorry.
motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion to close the meeting for the application 2023-1 at 20 Bear Hair Road.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain. Passes. Next up is application 2023-4, 180 Main Street, map 6, lot 25, applicant Zara Mazay. Did I say that right? Mazay, sorry. Requests a special permit in accordance with section 54.5, table of uses, Groveland zoning bylaw to operate a restaurant. It's all yours.
I'm sorry. We just want to take over the restaurant. We're gonna keep it the same menu, same. We're just gonna extend the hours till 9 p.m., 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And we'll keep the restaurant the same ingredients, same menu, same everything.
So that's Riverside, right?
Riverside Pizza, yes.
For anybody that didn't know. And also, what was the hours of operation before?
The hours of operation is on the previous permit, I believe were 11 to 9. On your application, you had done till
11 p.m., yeah.
You no longer want.
No, we don't
Okay.
yet. They're closing at 8 right now. We just want to extend one more hour till 9 p.m. And 7 days a week. So they're off on Monday and Tuesday. They close on Monday and Tuesday, and we would like to open it 7 days a week.
Okay. Members of the board?
Sounds good to me.
Well, that was easy. You think 9 is enough?
Well, it
This
depends
is-
on the people if they want it more later on.
Everybody's asleep by it.
But we want to go later than 10 or 11, you know?
Okay. You know what? This would be the time to ask, you know?
You don't have to be
You
open.
have to come in for a modification if you ever wanted to stay.
So this would be the time to say yes, 10, and,
10. Okay, then we'll just do 10.
okay.
Yeah, on Fridays and Saturdays is a lot busier, so 10 will be the maximum hours.
Okay. Board still okay with that?
Yep.
Do you get that?
I need your pen.
That's your pen. And then,
That's fine.
now there are butters here.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Are you a butters?
Yeah, I live right next door.
Would you like to speak?
I just wanted to know what this is about. So that's why I thought it would be in my best interest. I have 2 kids, so I was worried if there was liquor license,
No liquor
or
license,
any
no.
of that, and what kind of restaurant it's gonna be. But
Exact same thing, yeah,
Yeah.
no liquor. Yeah, it's gonna be family, same thing. We love to do the same thing.
Sorry, do you mind just stating your name and address for the record?
me,
Yes, please.
Catherine Holmstrom, 178 Main Street.
Thank you.
Annie, do we have any comment on the application? We all set with the application?
Also the application, and so, because I know the applicants would like to open soon. You have in your packet a draft special permit that I put together. So you can take a look at it. Obviously, a couple things, I left blank, like the hours. Another couple things that I want the board to just note, signs shall adhere to the Groveland zoning bylaws, and I cited, those sections. Obviously, shall meet all Groveland Board of Health rules and regulations. Were you planning on changing the signage or the lighting at all on the property? Okay, so that was another thing that,
So sign's up and already, it's the existing sign that you're gonna keep using, right?
Yeah, we're using the same sign, exactly.
Okay.
okay. And then, because I also looked at the former special permit that I had sent to you before and kind of incorporated those prior conditions into this one, just for continuity purposes. So, dumpster shall be located at the rear of the building and fenced in. Another thing, the special permit is subject to recall, given notification to the applicant and discussion at a public hearing if written complaints are received from the abutters. Obviously, it's open, it's not, like, the board receives a written complaint and it's done. It's, maybe your neighbor hates you for no good reason, and I get a letter every single day, it's,
Yeah.
so it would be with process. What
So
else?
spaces, parking spaces, they're all set, one handicap?
No, it's not
that zone?
changing.
What's that?
I was just asking.
Okay. There is a handicap space there, right?
There is, yeah,
Okay.
a lot of parking, so.
Right.
And then the only other, and then that was really it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, as nothing's really changing except for the hours. So within the special permit, I encompassed the prior ones. But I just wanted to bring those things to the public attention.
And they won't open as soon as they're in appeal period?
Sorry?
after that? If there's a,
They can open, during the appeal period, what's the term?
temporary?
No, not like an at-risk foundation permit. You know, it's like it's like an at-risk, you can open at risk.
So you understand there is an appeal period because you're coming up to the board? So I believe it's a 21-day appeal on this board?
Correct, yep.
So a 21-day appeal, during this appeal that you can open at risk, if somebody does appeal, then, you'd have to adhere to the, to the laws for the appeal. But it's up and running before I don't really think the concern about it. I mean, if they satisfy your concerns?
Yeah, it sounds good, sense to me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Any additional comment from the board?
It's been the same for 40 years, so.
I know. That's why we, that's why we said, here's the chance to
Y'all order
extend.
from it.
Yep.
Jason, you have anything?
Nope, good to go.
All right, I think at this time, we'll take a vote. Motion to accept the application, motion to grant the hours,
Grant the special permit.
grant the special permit.
Yep. I make motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Best of luck.
congratulations.
Welcome.
Great. Yes, the board needs to close the public hearing, but quickly, I will get this drafted up. I will rope them back here as soon as I possibly can to sign it. And once I get that, we will get it posted with the town clerk, and then from there, the appeal period will start. Once the appeal period is over and all is said and done, you'll just have to bring this to the Registry of Deeds, where it will be recorded, book and page. And from there, the only other thing to do is bring back the book and page numbers to myself and the town clerk. Which is, I mean, you can just shoot me an email saying like book whatever, page whatever, but we just need that documentation. And I will remind you of all of this, and if you have any questions, you have my contact info, but, yeah.
Okay, I guess at this time, we'll close the,
No, because I need to make the changes to this with the correct hours and on it, but I'll have this completed tomorrow morning, so if anyone's able to stop by tomorrow, I'll be here from 7 to probably like 5 tomorrow. So I'll be around,
okay.
and I will have this done like right away.
I'll be here to sign it.
Okay, great.
Yep, I can say.
So you might get something tomorrow afternoon.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for application, to approve the special permit for application 2023-4, 180 Main Street, map 6, lot 25 with the new hours.
Second.
Great.
All in favor?
Hey,
All right. Okay, you're all set?
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. So Jeff and Maria's Ice Cream, we're gonna continue that?
Can I give the board a rundown of what's going on with it?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, have a nice night. So I believe, I think 3 of the board members, maybe Mark, I don't know if you were on the board for this, this past summer. But essentially, Jeff and Maria's this past summer, proposed to do kind of like an all-night event. They were planning on doing 2 nights, one in July, one in August. And they reached out this year to get the process started early. So you have his kind of description of what he's planning. So their special permit says they're allowed to be open until 10 o'clock, which is why they have to come to the planning board to be granted temporary relief from that condition. And they, when we discussed this at the last board meeting, we talked about, you know, it's a bit much to have them come in every year for something like this. So I spoke with the town administrator who also works with permitting in town. So a couple things. The owner will have to get approval each year through the Board of Selectmen because of their common vic license. A suggestion I had was to add a condition to the relief that it be granted for 3 years at a time. But with that being said, add in to this temporary relief that if there are any complaints by any abutters or the Groveland Police Department, it will require the applicant to appear before the board and that the relief can be withdrawn. And then the only other thing I suggested was that we potentially add that the board must be notified of the exact dates each year. So those were kind of my comments and little research I did background on it. Jeff was supposed to be able to be at the meeting. He wasn't able to. So I can't really answer any other questions about it.
I think they should be here. If the applicant actually should zoom in, or I know they're in Florida.
Yeah.
But if we have questions, I mean, last time, I don't know if you remember, it was a pure, they've done this before, and, you know, I believe they had a police detail.
That was the plan. They didn't end up doing it last summer. The timing of it just didn't work out, but in years prior. They didn't have a detail, I think he said, but they notified the police and they were, you know, in the area throughout the night, checking in.
So I say we should probably continue this until we can get him in, if we have any questions, or to hear his take on it, because I think this is a little bit more than what he came in for last year, or what he proposed last year. Any discussion on this? Or-
I mean, they do this every year, right? And they need to get this variance from us to approve the additional hours for 1 or 2 days a year. So at the last meeting, I suggested, you know, we do it for a couple of years at a time because it seems onerous on a small business person to have to come before this board just to increase the hours 1 or 2 days a week, a year for a special event. I don't have any specific questions to the owner about this. This is a known owner in the town, and they've done this event with no issues in the past, so I don't really have any concerns about them continuing doing what they've been doing in years to come.
Anybody else?
I'll agree with that.
Mike?
Oh, yeah, I agree with John. If they're not really changing anything,
Yep.
then I kind of think we could just roll through this. I mean,
Okay.
But I do definitely understand Brad's point that it would be nice for them to
Sure.
come to the meeting,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
when
Yep.
they've said they were gonna be here, because I know they have said it and not come in the past.
We've taken the
And
time.
And the Board of Selectmen has had the same issue with them. And I remember back when Mike Wood was on the board, he had additional comments that were made. So it is important for them to come in, but.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
do agree with, trying not to make it any more difficult than it has to be for the small business owners.
Yep.
So do we want to just, I mean, you got plenty of time, July and August. I mean, do we want to just push it off?
It's
Just to at least have them say
They still have to
hi?
come back to the Board of Selectmen too, so.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, they'll have to come to the Board of Selectmen every year because their common vic license also dictates their hours. So they will still have process every single year
Okay.
to do this.
Yep.
It just won't be with I mean, they'll have to come back to us if we choose 3 years, I think. 3
I
years
think
sounds
we're all right
good
with
to
3
me.
years, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And/or if there are any complaints from, as noted in the comments. And I think I would agree, and I would have more concerns if there were complaints or there were some outstanding issues. So I feel better knowing that they have to come before the Board of Selectmen to begin with, so.
And actually appear.
I mean, that's on the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody want to fly a motion? John?
What would the motion be?
To accept,
Motion to, like,
to ex-
provide the relief to the special permit for
Okay.
the 2 days listed here.
and granting them a 3-year extension.
I make such a motion.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That was tough. All right. Approval of the January 4th, 2023 meeting minutes. We have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to approve the January 4th, 2023 meeting minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Annie, we got a town planner update?
Department update, I just did our finance board meeting. It was just the initial kind of running through what we were looking at. It was, the finance board wasn't making any recommendations, it was more so just what we were looking at. The board isn't looking for anything new this year. Next year, though, we will be, asking for monies to do a flyover for our mapping system. So, I mean, I use it every single day, multiple times a day. So that is going to be about $1,202.20, starting next fiscal year, and that's gonna provide for 2 more flyovers, of the area. So we use that it's through contracted services through the MVPC. But other than that, our budget is pretty straightforward. As far as new applications coming in, Your Place and Ours. I've been getting Riverside and Your Place and Ours confused all day. Your Place and Ours is also selling. Their permit is also non-assignable. So they will be hopefully appearing in front of the board at the meeting next month. So if we pull up the calendar.
New owners?
New owners, yep. So, like with Riverside, they're not really planning on changing anything, but they do have to get a new special permit. So, because of the timing of, just with the, having to notice it in the newspaper and whatnot, our next scheduled meeting is February 1st. They will not make the
They'll never make
deadlines for that.
one, yeah. Yep.
The next, so our next quasi-scheduled meeting is February 15th. So I don't know if the board wants to maybe just skip the February 1st meeting, and just go right to the 15th. Another thing I will note, I will not be able to attend the meeting on the 1st. I will be away. So-
So I've signed, do we have any business for the February 1st meeting?
No.
No, there's nothing else.
There's no reason to meet.
No.
Yeah, I just know, because we, like in our rules and regulations, first Wednesday of the month, and if necessary, third Wednesday of the month. So I just wanted to check in with everyone and their schedules. And they also, like with Riverside, Your Place and Ours wants to get this process moving as quickly as possible, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to confirm with the board that the 15th would work.
15's fine for me, how about you guys?
It's good for me. Calendar's open.
At some point, Andy, I think I'd like to have a discussion with the board about impervious surface building envelope sizes, and I've talked to the selectmen about this, and revenue enhancement for the town, and the chair, Chris. And maybe we can put this up for discussion at another meeting.
Pervious surface. So specifically with the table of dimensional requirements is,
Correct.
okay. Just because I know with our aquifer protection overlay, we have other requirements, but I just want for the people
Like per case
watching.
basis, increasing the envelope size of the building.
So maybe like another special permit process to increase depending on use or something?
Depending on parking, depending on, every aspect of the build.
Yeah.
Just maximizing a lot.
Yeah, I
I think
think,
it's a good idea, when I came before the selectmen, and we were talking about business taxes, and
Mm-hmm.
if we start increasing the sizes, it's more revenue for the town without impacting town services.
mm-hmm.
So I think that bodes a discussion.
For the next, you want that on the next agenda?
I think we should start talking
Okay.
about it, yeah. Maybe have some ideas from different towns surrounding, like Newbury, like the same thing we did for planning board. Have some kind of an idea. Through engineering, I've talked to engineers before, and they've said most towns are a average of 70 to 80% coverage. And again, because we're a small town, and I would say let's do it as a per case basis.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can reach out to other communities for sure and get that
Okay.
moving. We wouldn't be able to, I don't think we'd have the abilities to get wording in time for this town meeting.
No, I don't think we will.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna take some discussion amongst the board. I don't think it's just gonna be like a lot of regularity. I think this is
Yeah.
gonna be a
This will
few
have to,
meetings.
yeah, because this will have to go to the planning board too,
Correct.
for the, actual zoning changes. But I think it makes sense for the zoning board to be the ones having the initial conversations, as it would be a variance with the zoning board if anyone were to try to go above what's currently required. So I think it makes sense for the zoning board to have that
And it,
initial
you know,
conversation.
Bring Sam in on the dialogue if so
Oh,
be it,
yeah.
if he wants to be in it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he will. As an enforcement officer, we can definitely start working on that in-house, and then by the 15th, I'm sure it's a month away, we'll have
Okay.
something to present to the board. And I think,
Any other items? Okay, I guess we fly a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:05.
Second it?
All in favor? Good night, Groveland.
We need your pen.
oh, yes, you do need my pen. Sorry.
Mark's got a pen, so we'll fly that down and.
Oh, there you go.